You're done with the day. After hauling the refined ores and materials to the storage deck. What to do now, you wonder to yourself. You could go back to the crew deck, get some food, watch a film, or perhaps take a nice hot shower, then get some sleep. You think to yourself, those are some very tempting options, but instead you say it would not hurt to find some guidance for these reoccurring dreams you've been having. So you head back down the corridor and around the corner to the tram waiting area. You sit down, seeing the tram won't take too long to get to your position. Then all of a sudden you feel a throbbing in your head as if something is being drilled into your skull. You cannot hold it back any longer. You let out a scream as if something was trying to burst out of your head. Then, as quickly as the pain had arrived, it would disappear, leaving you and your team members shocked and confused. They would ask if you were alright, with some pleading with you to see a doctor in the medical deck. You quietly agree and tell them that the medical deck was already on your mind. Suddenly you hear an open transmission announcing the tram unit had malfunctioned and was scheduled to be repaired. Due to an error with the onboard system, the announcer would advise caution to the workers and other personnel to take the access ladder down into the trench for those who cannot wait for the repairs, and apologizes for the inconvenience. You think to yourself, how could this day get any worse? The other team members start saying that this is a lucky break. They could just wait for the end of their shift. However, you knew that this would not be an option for you. You get up, bid your farewells to your colleagues, and move towards the edge of the tram area, looking down into the dimly lit trench, feeling a breath of air gently pass over and through your legs. Your hands begin trembling once more. Your thoughts snap back to that dream, remembering the tentacles slicing through and all over your body. You snap out of this trance, feeling numb to the core of your emotions. You then move down towards the ladder, climbing into the abyss. As you finish your descent, you look to the darkened hall, thinking that there is nothing to be afraid of, but still clenching your teeth as you begin to walk to the medical deck, trying anything to put these uneasy thoughts out of your mind, using nice and warm memories of home as a tool to defeat the fear gripping your heart, clouding your judgment. Moving through the musky gusts of air and dirt with trash littering the floor slats, it's quiet. Almost too quiet. You aren't used to this silence. It's almost eerie in its nature, with the occasional creak of the distant machinery and hiss of the pipes. You continue to move along, keeping an eye out for anything out of the ordinary. You just can't seem to shake that feeling of being watched, observed, like you are a specimen inside of a containment unit. You look to the distance to see a light at the end of the tunnel. You can now see the medical deck. You have finally made it to salvation from this darkness. You run to the access ladder when you feel something under your foot. You stop for a moment and look down, feeling something bend under your weight. You take a closer look to see the metal slat had been damaged. Perhaps when transporting the ores, this piece of floor had been scraped by the loader. You can hear something though, something faint. Something that almost sounds like running water. Then it hits you. This leads into the sewers. No matter, you say to yourself, you'll report this to the security office once you've made it out of here. As you place one hand on the ladder, you begin to hear another noise, a squelching sound as if something wet was stretching and retracting, accompanied by several pitter-patters on the floor plates. However, It is too dark to see what is making those sounds. You put it out of your mind as you begin to climb up the ladder and to the light. Pulling yourself out of the darkness and into the light, you see people waiting for the tram, some with their heads in between their knees, others rubbing the sides of their faces with their fingers in a circular motion, as if to relieve themselves of an internal pain, much like the one you felt only a few moments ago. Moving past them, you come up to a set of doors. As you open them, you see the security office in disarray, with officers scrambling to accommodate people to wherever they can be placed. Seeing the blood drips on the floor, along with the overly used up bandages on the floor as well, that have soaked in so much blood that they could be mistaken for being flesh. You ask someone if you could be checked out by a doctor, with them issuing out a number to you and asking you to make your way to the reception of the emergency room. Perplexed at why these measures were being taken, you ask for why such procedures are being used. The officers would push past you as they continue with their measures, unable to answer such a simple question. It was clear to you that these officers were out of their depth, as if under assault by the patients rushing towards them, seeking their aid. You do not linger here for much longer and go through another set of doors towards the reception waiting area. As you travel towards another set of doors, you can hear distant screams echoing through the corridor. It sounded as if some patients were in complete agony, writhing in pain. These sounds would startle you and would give you an extra layer of feeling that something was truly wrong here. The doors would open as a trolley was pushed into you, knocking you to the side as you hit your head against the metallic wall. The nurses didn't even stop to apologize, let alone ask if you were okay. Slightly frustrated, you burst into the reception, demanding to see who is in charge, with the receptionist unable to see you right away. The staff looked as if they were swamped with patients, taken completely by surprise by the sudden numbers rushing for help. You shout out to the receptionist, demanding answers, when she would answer sharply that she hasn't got them for you, and you will have to wait like all the rest. You look to the seating area to see no one in sight. You would ask again, the rest? You are the only one present within the room, when a doctor would open the door, asking for you to come with them, as they do not have all the answers right at this moment. However, what he could show you may give you an indication. As you travel into the ER and through the wards, you can see people with serious injuries, some with cuts and scrapes, looking as if they had been attacked by someone, and others missing limbs with the bandages soaked in blood, along with puddles forming under the beds, as if the crimson liquid leaked from the bed and dripped onto the floor. You are deeply shocked by these sights, unable to speak. Tears begin forming in your eyes as you hear nurses shout out to the doctors that another had passed away, with more and more being placed here as the deceased were wheeled off towards the morgue. The smell here was enough to make you feel sick to your stomach, as if the blood had begun to travel through the air itself. The doctor tells you, now you see we have a sudden pandemic of patients flooding towards us. We have been trying to treat the patients as best as we can, but we aren't equipped to deal with these type of wounds. It was to be made clear that your suspicions that something had truly gone wrong here were correct. Your thoughts travel back to the loud noise coming from the flight deck. Perhaps a shuttle did crash, injuring all these people. But then again, these wounds looked as if something had savagely attacked them. There wouldn't be this many present in the hangar bay, so if the shuttle did not cause this, then what did? The doctor would then turn his attention towards you, asking you why you were coming to see them. feeling a sense of guilt over your rash behavior, you decide to tell the doctor that it was nothing. Nothing as horrific as this. You apologize to the doctor and then take your leave, walking back towards the tram waiting area, hoping that the tram had been fixed now. As you make your way through the familiar corridors and towards the security office, you start to hear more whispers. You shake your head, telling yourself it's not real. It's not real. You begin to hear a thunderous sound echoing through the ventilation system above you. Your heart begins to thump inside your chest as the sound gets louder and draws closer to you. As you drop onto your bottom, waiting for whatever was lurking inside to reveal itself to you. You feel sweat begin to secrete from your pores, transfixed on the noise, unable to move with your body petrified. You can't help but feel a cold, chilling feeling begin to rush down your spine, as if someone was pressing an ice cube against the back of your neck. You begin feeling as if you cannot breathe, feeling as if you are drowning, as you hear a muffled noise within the distance. And then the thunderous sound stops. You wait a moment before your body allows you to take a breath in once more. Was that real? You begin to ask yourself, as you sit there. Feeling begins to come back to your body, as if your mind had retreated away, only to spring back into action now. You pick yourself back up, using the rigging from the walls to lift yourself into a standing position. You place your hand over your head, rubbing your temple back and forth, trying not to make sense of the sudden paranoia attacks you have been dealing with, hearing of whispers in the past days, and now those whispers were turning into more solid sounds. You begin thinking that you are slowly going insane. You take to the tram waiting area, where you pass the security office to see more blood on the floor. You try not to think about what you have seen, and walk down the corridor and into the tram waiting area. But as you get there, the tram would arrive, allowing you a quicker path to the crew deck. You say to yourself, I must not have heard the announcement, when somebody would tell you that there was no announcement. As you step off the tram unit and back to the crew quarters, you hear a growling noise, and feeling something inside your chest begin to vibrate. Your stomach. You haven't eaten since your break. Maybe some food will do you some good, you think to yourself. And so you walk past the collection of tables and furniture, moving up towards the balcony, where you would travel through a door and into the mess hall. As you enter, you can see a group of people, not all together, sitting alone. You claim a table for yourself and order some food to be brought over to you. The staff member would ask you what drink you would like. You ask for something, anything, to take the edge off, to lighten what is filling your mind, as you would rather forget all about today and move on. As you take your beverage to your table, eagerly awaiting for your food to be delivered, to hear the other people mumbling to themselves. You can't help but think that this is a pattern, a series of mumbles, or is it something else? As overhearing all, they sound more like a chant. Maybe these were unitologists, but that did not matter to you. All that mattered to you was getting your grub and heading back to the sleep bunks for some much needed rest. The food would arrive, smelling nice as always, burger and chips. The selection wasn't exactly what you would see in a nice 5-star restaurant, but it would work all the same. The trick is getting it down the hatch, but you are so hungry, you would be nearly okay with eating those mumbling fools over there, as you just want to eat in peace and quiet after your more than stressful day. You eat your food, making it halfway through the plate, as you hear something overpowering the mumbling. Another transmission would play out, this time coming from the captain. It would be hard to hear what he would be saying through the static, and with his voice fading in and out of the distortion. However, one thing would be made clear to you and everybody else, that an outbreak was on board the ship. It has been occurring over the last few hours. You would think to yourself, obviously, but what kind of outbreak? The transmission would end, along with your meal, before he would answer those thoughts. You would get up, placing your tray next to the waste disposal chute, and head towards the sleeping bunks. As you travel into the lobby area, you see a group of people gathering around something. Intrigued by this, you approach, to find a man giving a rather gruesome presentation. However, you have already seen enough horrific imagery for one day, and as you open the door to the bunk beds and step through, you can see down the hall your bed as you left it. Finally, you can get that rest you desperately need. As you move away from the door, you can hear a man begin to shout out in the lobby, telling the people to come back to him and to listen to his teachings. The voice would fade out as the door sealed shut. You would prepare yourself for the rest needed for the next shift, with your joints aching, your back hurting, along with a slow but present headache you can't seem to shift. You lay back, pulling the blanket over yourself, allowing your head to rest on the pillow, and softly close your eyes so that you may transcend towards the realm of infinite possibilities. The realm where dreams are born. You begin dreaming about your family. Finally, a good dream. No dark corridors, no blinking lights, no blood, no bodies, just those warm memories you used to try and fend off the fear of the darkness. The world around you is a bright one, with you near the seaside, with grass spots poking out. You see someone at the top of the ridge, but they are too far away. You need to get closer. Could it be your father, sister, brother, mother, or perhaps a mystery partner that you have yet to meet? You get closer and closer to see. As you do though, the person begins to corrupt and decay in front of you. Not again. Not another one of these dreams, please. Just make it stop. Just let me rest. What do you want from me? You scream out to the heavens, hoping for divine intervention when it would come, but not in the form you would understand. As you look behind you, you see the red marker towering over you. You would touch the obelisk, asking, as you do, "This isn't possible. How can you be here? You were never here before." However, the marker would begin to shed its rocky texture and would transform right in front of you, with the world around you beginning to get darker and darker. Suddenly, you wake up, hearing ungodly noises coming from outside of the sleep block, followed by twisted roars and noises that sound like savage and feral beasts. But that isn't possible, you tell yourself. Your heart begins acting on cue, beating as if your mind had just worked out the truth before you had. Regardless, you would be hearing the same thunderous noises from before, but this time coming towards you. You fall out of bed, unsure of what is happening. Could this be another dream? Or is this really happening? And the ship was under attack from someone or something. You hear a crashing noise, as if something big and heavy had just smashed through something. Perhaps a door, or perhaps something else. Whatever the noise was, you knew you did not want to be where you were, so it could find you. So, in a state of pure terror of the unknown, you roll under your bed, hoping whatever it was didn't find you or see you. And that's when you see a slow, skulking silhouette walking towards your location, as if tiptoeing like an assassin of the night. hearing this thing make a noise. But it wasn't really a normal sound coming from a person. It was more of a choking and coughing sound mixed into one, along with the wet and quiet squishes it would make as it continued traveling towards you. It continues its slow, torturous approach, inching closer and closer to your bunk. When it turns and moves back in the direction it just came from, like it's patrolling the area and knowing that prey is nearby, present within the room, it allows itself to fall back onto the floor, as if it sees no dangers nearby, like this was a safe place to rest. These theories would flutter through your mind, but then again, this could just be one big joke. But your mind would say otherwise. You begin thinking like in the shower room, this is ridiculous. However, like in the medical deck, you feel as if your body cannot move, with your limbs going limp, and you start to breathe faster, as if the feeling of helplessness began to flow through your veins, unable to do anything but wait until fear had finished its assault on your very soul, unknown to you that your mind was actually protecting you to stay alive. Perhaps soon you will come to learn how to get to grips with this new and present danger. However, you would soon realize the difference between a fictional nightmare and a present one. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, then give the video a like, comment what you thought below, and I look forward to hearing from you. Sign up to join the British Alliance today by subscribing and ringing in the notification bell to receive future updates on new forms of content, and I will see all of you among the cosmos, and be sure to have a good one.